All right, all right. So this is episode two of the Mind Investors podcast. And today we're talking about real estate, passive income, residual income, um, how to buy property, how to flip property, everything. So just like you, I'm a student on this subject, but Al is the master. So I'm gonna listen in, take notes, and listen again. All right, bro. So tell me this.
Hello, everyone. This is the Mind Investors podcast, and we're here to educate everyone and give information on how to be successful in every aspect in the real estate business industry, which is very saturated and tough. But with the affirmations, faith, believe, and hope, and the I am, and the power of now and knowing that you can get these deals, you can achieve and acquire multiple deals. Even though the market is very saturated, you can still find plenty of good deals out there and make an incredible amount of money.
Incredible amounts of money. So this is episode two of the Mind Investors podcast. You can watch episode one on YouTube on the Mind Investors podcast YouTube channel. So Al, question, brother. How do we start, building wealth with real estate? How can we buy property with little to no money down? You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
How do we get started?
Before I get into that, I want to discuss with everyone that you don't need a real estate license to make money. Everyone chases to get the real estate license, and sometimes it takes more time than you could actually think it's going to take, because you have certain requirements. The Department of State always takes their time. You fail the test a few times, you get discouraged, and sometimes to acquire a real estate license, it could drag on. I've seen people drag on for multiple years. I still have people calling me back saying, "Hey, Al, I'm interested in getting my real estate license," and they keep trying over and over, but the time that they try takes a very long time. And that time is very valuable, because between the time they applied for their license and they try to get their license, and by the time they got it, they could have made a ton of money without it. They could have made a ton of money without it. They could have built their platform of contacts, resource, education, and learning through experience how to buy real estate and how to flip real estate and how to generate and build those contacts in the real estate business that they could use later on when they get their license.
So tell me this. Why should people buy real estate?
Well, real estate has been the number one since planet Earth has started. Just it was in a different form of way. You had different tents for rent. When you were out in the desert, you had to pay some kind of coin, a gold coin or a silver coin, to stay somewhere. If you're traveling to the Silk Road or Morocco or anywhere you're traveling, you always needed a place to stay. And yes, some people gave the hospitality to welcome you in, but some people didn't, because it was a part of business, a traditional business since the beginning of time. And with the population growing so fast, the land that's non-occupied is getting smaller and smaller. So I see prices declining, and somewhat with the market, being, manipulated by the bankers and by certain people in the world that have large influence. But no matter what, it still has its turn to come back up, and we don't see prices, those $30,000-$40,000 houses. Where are those $40,000 properties? Let's just take, for example, Miami. You could.
Oh, he broke up. God, hold on 1 second. Let me figure this thing out. There we go. Let me get him back here. I have a lot of questions regarding real estate.
My apology, guys. We got disconnected there.
You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
So, like I was explaining.
What were you saying?
Like I was explaining, where those buildings are standing right now, this is a Jade Signature building. You could have bought a property there, 30 years ago for $30,000. You could have bought that whole lot for $30,000, and on that lot you had an empty lot, or a cheap house, or a cheap tent hotel that was just standing. And today, those cheap hotel tents are being sold for $80 million, $100 million, $200, $300, $400, $500 million. Why? Because each of those units are now for sale around starting $6 million, just one unit. And you have thousands of these units. This is a multi-billion-dollar project here. So we went from $30,000, a regular land that's on the beach that nobody wanted 30, 40 years ago. If we go even back than that, this place was empty. Nothing was here. So from $30,000, $40,000, now this is selling at, $6 million for 1,500 square feet. How did that go from there? This is a very big difference. So real estate is not falling down. It's going up, and within years, it's going to keep going higher and higher and higher. And what's normal? What is a normal price for real estate? There's no normal. In 20 years, they could say, an apartment worth here $50 million. We don't know. So is it normal that it's $6 million now? I don't know. But I know for sure that if money invested in real estate today, anywhere in the United States, with the dollar being always strong, no matter what. People could say the dollar is down, the dollar is not worth much, the dollar is this, the dollar is that. You could pay with dollars and you could buy a property, right? It's not like you're walking in a bank and you say, hey, I want to buy this property. And they say, listen, we don't take dollars here. So the dollar is still valid. We're not in a, deflation here where the dollar is worthless. The dollar still has a purchase, a strength to purchase real estate, and you could invest in real estate in all different types of ways. And I'm not saying go out there and buy, a unit here for $6 million, because it's not going to make any money. What this podcast is about is how to invest money in real estate and triple and double your money, or even make money in real estate with absolutely no money. And when people say you could make money in real estate with no money, this is absolutely true, but to a certain point, because you do need some type of money down to start up. But you could start up with a very limited amount.
How much money usually? How much?
Well, it depends on the property. My company, I have multiple hedge funds throughout the 50 states. And my hedge funds, what we do is we provide funding for people. We provide funding for people for fix and flips, for commercial real estate, for all different types of investments, hotel investments, new development, for builders, for anyone that's in the real estate industry, we could fund. And depends on the deal, on how much the property, is being purchased at, with as minimum as 10% down, which could be 20 grand. You could make 150, 100, on your first flip.
Wow, really?
My first flip, we bought a property for $125,000 in Long Island, and we put about $40,000 in this property. With the holding cost and closing cost, we're averaged around 200. We sold it for 342. So
Wow.
a net worth at around 140 grand. Let's just roughly say.
Okay, so question. How much money have you made off of real estate?
Well, I want to go back to not just the real estate itself, but behind the science behind real estate. And the
Okay.
science behind real estate starts right back off where we started. It
Right.
starts with affirmations. It
Right.
starts with belief, faith, hope, the power of now. And it starts with adding all to that some action. So when I started in the real estate business, in the fix and flip industry, I used to drive to my office and I used to listen to the affirmations. And I would say to myself, today I'm receiving large deals. I'm receiving large deals. I'm receiving 50 cents on a dollar deals. All the deals I received today are 50 cents on a dollar. 50 cents on a dollar deals now come to me easy, effortlessly, and frequently. And I'm grateful for that. And I would use my techniques and Justin Perry's material with the affirmations. And in my first month in the fix and flip industry, I got 10 contracts.
Wow.
And everybody in the office was just like blown away. How did this guy just get 10 contracts? We've been here for years, and we get on average maybe 6 or 8 within the entire year. You know, because what happens is to get into a contract, you know, you have to go through a BPOs, negotiations, dealing with the banks, whether it's a short sale or REO, depending on the circumstances. It takes time to process that. You got to put it in an offer, you know, in writing or type it up. You got to send proof of funds. It's a process. But if you have the right person behind you, it's totally doable. So what I did was I used the affirmations on my way to the office. And when I get to the office, my vibration and the frequency that I was in and tuned up and self-programmed to find these deals. I would find deals like this, like this, like this. And the deals were just coming to me. They were coming to me. I mean, we got into 10 deals we got into contract and 10 deals in 1 month. But I had more deals coming, more and more and more and
Wow.
more. I had piles of deals coming. And
so, you know,
really have to build the right structure. And the right structure starts in your mind. It all starts here. It all starts here. How you water yourself. You know, how you water yourself. How do you prepare yourself? You know, how do you set your mindset to find these deals? And these deals are out there. And I found them. I was finding them one after another after another.
So you believe that the affirmations helped a lot, basically,
I do
right?
believe so. The affirmations helped a lot. They helped me to self-program myself. They helped me to believe. They helped me, you know, so much that even today, a lot of times, you know, before I do anything, I try to use the affirmations as much as I can. I try to even go to sleep with these affirmations, but during daytime, it's so important to tune yourself up to that frequency, to raise your vibration with the affirmations. I mean, if you wake up and you say to yourself, I'm an idiot, you know, I'm a loser, I don't find deals. You know, people tell me there's no deals out there. You know, there's got to be no deals out there. You know, there's no deals out there. If you tell yourself and listen to everyone that tells you there's no deals out there. You know, there's nothing. The market is saturated. Somebody else got the deals. You're programming yourself for failure. Why? Because just like everything else, you have to have desire. You have to have willpower. Combining desire and willpower together, you will find what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay. So my goal is I want to have at least 48 properties. You know, we had a conversation last time we were here about that.
Right.
You know,
you were talking about discussing about rental income properties.
Right. So my goal is 48 properties. Right.
Why 48?
You know, I don't know, but that number keeps showing up in my head. So, you know, I don't know.
I
You know,
think
I'm going with it.
that should be an ultimate goal. Maybe, you know, it could be 48, 200, 150.
Right.
I think that should be
Right.
a long run goal, no problem. But I
Right.
think it's about starting the goal, getting the head start. So if you think 48
Getting started.
properties, if you think 48 properties, you kind of feel like it's a little heavy to start. But I think
Right.
starting with setting your goal small and then raising it, but knowing your long-term goal would be a good way to do it, to start with, let's say, 3 or 2. And
Got you.
to start that up, maybe, you know, buy and fix and flip some properties, and you come along where you have a budget where you buy something cheap. You fix it and then you rent it, but you know you bought it cheap.
Right.
If you bought it 50 cents on the dollar, you could cash out anytime. The money is yours there, even if you sell it below market.
Okay. So my goal is 48 properties, and I would like at least $50,000 in passive income from those properties every single month. Is that possible?
That's possible. That's possible, but this is called a portfolio. And
Okay.
to build a portfolio, you know, not everyone is able to build a portfolio themselves, because you have to master plan how to build this portfolio. You have to have the energy of direction. When somebody gives you good advice, good consultation, and good direction how to acquire something, you will acquire it. For example, I have a cousin of mine who always gives me good advice. He always gives me the direction. Just the phone call itself, calling and say, hey, what do you think? I have the situation. I want to do something like this. And this is somebody who is your personal, you know, advisor who wants to see you do well. You know, just that phone call of him giving you a good advice and a good direction. Hey, you know what? Why don't you do this, this, and this, and this, step by step, and guide you through the step, would be very helpful. And just the thought and the power of direction in that person's mind, giving you that power to get that done, besides your own power, will get it done.
Got you. All right. So here I am reading some of the comments. Let's see. All right. Somebody asked, what affirmation were you using?
The affirmation I was using for exactly what? To acquire,
to manifest the deal. Yeah, the deal.
To find these deals.
Yeah.
Well, I used several affirmations, and what I did, I kind of mixed them up. I mixed the affirmations up, and I used Justin Perry's affirmations, and I added some of my wording in there.
Okay.
So it kind of came out with its own creativity and a flow. So what I would do is I would listen to his entire the 2 powerful words.
Okay.
The 2 most powerful words. I would listen to that, and I would get in tune with the vibration and the frequency, the spirit of lifting my spirit up. And once I lift my spirit up and I'm there, emotion.
All right. So
Was it
the
on
last
your end or
comment that
my
I
end?
saw said, how do you get started with little to no money down? How do you get started just like, you know, buying property? How do you get started? Like the first 3 steps. What are they?
Right. So I own a company. It's called Cash Deal Capital, and Justin Perry, your creators, is my partner in this company. So what we do here is we fund fix and flips, all different kind of deals. Even if somebody needs, for example, funding for property that needs, that has trouble with acquiring private capital to kind of refinance their property through private capital, we're also help in that situation as well. But to answer your question, how do we start? First, you have to have a physical property. You have to have the physical address of the property, and you start off by finding this property. And once you find this property, you have to do the CMA, the market analysis. And
Okay.
a good way, I didn't check. And a good way to do that is that not every state has geodata, but geodata is one of the best sources in New York as a provider to do these comps and the CMA. There's also other sources like MLS and different multiple sources depending on the state where the property is, LexisNexis. So by checking the properties surrounding the property you're trying to acquire, what were those properties sold for in the last 6 months, a year? What were they purchased for? What type of condition they're in? So there's a process to start this before you actually get funding. But
Okay.
you don't want to find a property and then start searching for funding, and you're in contract, and you're trying to purchase this property and you can't find the proper funding. What happens is you start to feel that pressure of the time limit, and you don't have a prepared funding source who will have the funds for you available immediately. And we provide those funds, including 100% construction cost. We provide 100% construction cost for all fix and flips with as little as 10% down with minimum credit. You don't need a 700 score. You don't need an 800 score. And this is a no-income check loan. This is all collateral based. With as little as 10% down, you can acquire this property with our funding. We can get you funded with as little as 10% down, depending on your credit situation, and we could even help you somewhat erase your credit. That way you're able to get funded by us. So if you're looking at a property, let's say that's $200,000, and you could sell it for $375, $400, depends on the deal. You could sell it for even $350. You still make $150,000. $200,000. You need about $20,000. $20,000 involving yourself in a real estate business. You could take a small loan. You could, get a collateralized loan by, for example, jewelry or coins or watches or gold. You can find funds in that kind of way. And we also provide collateralized loans in jewelry, coins, and watches at our office in Manhattan. So in any way you need our help to find those funds to start your first deal, we will help you and guide you how to find those funds with very limited amount of funds to get into your first property, get it fixed, and get it sold for a profit to start off on your next project, you could use that money to buy 2 or 3 properties.
Reinvest it for sure.
You could reinvest it. Let's say if you
For
make
sure.
100 grand on your first property, you could use that for a down payment on 2 properties. Even on 3, depends. Maybe on 2 good ones. Even on one by one, case by case. You know?
Okay, so question. What if you're interested in earning just strictly passive income from the properties? What do you suggest?
Passive income, you mean rental income properties?
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't personally suggest that to somebody that's just starting out because, depends on their financial situation. Let's just say that. If somebody comes from a background or they can find ways, or they have funds available to do that, we could help them out to build a portfolio 100% because we do provide all our investors with properties. I have multiple properties available that you could purchase, fix, and flip them. I have different types of properties in Florida here and also in New York and New Jersey. And now we're starting to do California now. So we do have properties available that you could inquire. We could send you a list of properties and can start working on something. But as far as jumping right into rental income properties, this is not going to work out for you because let's just say you purchased this property for cheap, but you took a hard money loan on it. You're starting with no money. You got to pay this loan within a year.
Right.
Or you can get an extension within a year and a half, let's say, or whatever it is. So you can't buy and keep that property, with having a hard money loan, unless you pay the loan out. So again, you need more financial advice on how to doing that, and I will explain that in our next episode.
Next episode. Now, question.
Really get into that detail in that specific topic.
Okay, so question. What mindset should someone adopt to be a successful real estate investor? How do you think? How do you carry yourself?
Well, I tell you something. I went through a transition of a jewelry business and into real estate business. I sold my jewelry stores and I got into the real estate business. And honestly, I didn't really know much about the real estate investment business when I started out because I started real estate in 2004. This is 16 years ago. And I started as being in a firm in Manhattan and just working with buyers and sellers. And you can make a tons of money with that, but that's very hard to start out. And it takes longer, it takes time. And second of all, you're not in charge of the situation. Here, you're actually in charge. You're in charge to find a contractor. You're in charge. You're in charge to find the funding. You're in charge to get a contractor. You're in charge to find a property. Everything, is based on you. It's a little bit different. You have full control of everything. So,
Gotcha.
I would recommend. Go ahead. What do you wanted to say something? I felt like you wanted to say something.
Okay. So, wealth building with real estate. Does it take a long time? Can it happen quickly? What do you think? This is fast.
I'm going to tell you everything. I'm going to tell you from personal experience. And my personal experience is that you really have to tune yourself up. If you lost me a little bit, I'm getting multiple phone calls from all different investors. My phone is booming. And my phone was not booming when I started in this business, let me tell you that much. My phone was
Yeah.
not booming like it's booming now, and that's also part of the affirmations, because I would use the affirmations you have on absolutely everything. My telephone is ringing now. My telephone is. I'm getting large amount of phone calls from investors. I'm getting large amount of phone calls from deal pitches. I'm getting just programming yourself to receive a reception.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Program yourself as that receptor, like a satellite who receives first, excuse me, in an energetic way, and then transforms in the physical way.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, basically charge yourself up
Yes,
like a cell phone battery. Charge yourself with
yes,
affirmation.
yes, yes.
Words are energy.
I would charge
Charge your
myself.
energy up with
I would charge.
emotion.
I would charge myself up, and I think pretty much I started the investment business with very small amounts. The properties I was buying, sometimes you could buy a property for $600,000-700,000, but you make very little money, very little money. Or you could buy a property at a low amount. You could buy a property for 150 grand, sell it for 300. You could buy a property
Wow.
for 600,000, sell it for 900. But the higher the amount is, I've noticed, the lower the profit is. But I did see in a few properties for 900, and the comps were like 1.7 mil, and you could get rid of it at like 1.5, no problem, on the market price. And people who are buying properties with realtors, and they're looking at the market price. They're not buying a property to an investor. They're looking at a market price. And those are the people that will look at this property that's worth 1.7, selling for 1.5. They'll look at it as a fascinating deal. They're looking at it as a steal, like, wow, oh my God, we just saved 200 grand. But it's okay if you make $200,000 less, as long as you're on the safe side. You got to pay back your hard loan, you got to make the profit, and you got to close out on everything slate and clean. Not owing
Okay,
any
so
money
question.
and being profitable.
Okay, so question. Do you give 10% to your church or your rabbi?
I do.
Okay. Why?
I feel being a giver while being a good receiver has a lot to do with a very, very thin understanding, because not everybody believes that you should give away 10%. Some people believe you
Okay.
should put the 10% away. Put it away for yourself. Some people do that. But many people give away 10% to their rabbi, to their priest, to whoever they want to give, to charity. And if you notice, you could take Oprah. She's always giving away. She's always giving away, and she's always receiving.
Always giving away.
You see so many
Yep.
athletes always giving away. You see
Right.
athletes that give away 50% of their income, charity, to starving kids in Africa. You see so many people giving away money, and the more they give away, the more it comes right back. So it's like throwing a handball at a wall. Throw it that way, it shoots
Right
right
at the
back
wall.
to you.
Comes right
Another-
back to you.
In other
Absolutely.
words, what you put in, you put out. You put out, you put in. It's a circuit. It's like electricity. It's like
Exactly.
electricity.
Exactly.
Somebody had to put, for example, the electricity in your circuits, and then you use it to charge your phone, right? Somebody put that energy, and now you're receiving this energy. And from this
Give and
energy,
receive.
new
Give and
energy
receive.
comes out.
Yep.
But we pay for this energy. So they're giving us energy. We're paying for the energy. It's the same thing. You're giving away by being a good giver and having your subconscious mind program that you're a good person, that you like to give, that you care about the world and you care about the people in this world, and you're not just some selfish prick that wants to keep everything to himself. Because greed is a destruction of everything.
It is.
Being a good giver and being a good receiver takes a certain person to maintain that balance.
Absolutely. So, I mean, basically, this is a simple universal law. When you give, you always receive, but usually multiply. Your blessings, I don't know, like they tend to come back to you multiplied when you give with an open heart. But just give. Give something. Money, time. Give something. When you give, you have to receive. You just have to. It is what it is. So
with that
let's answer
said,
some questions.
I
Let's see.
would like you to ask me more questions.
You want me to ask you more questions?
Yes, because we have the
What question would you
synergy.
like me?
We have a very good synergy, and I noticed that from the first time we started speaking, and this was roughly about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, and this is actually when I started in my real estate career. 5 years ago, I started in a real estate investment career, actually. And we always had the synergy to ask each other questions, and you seem to get the best out of me. And I seem to get the best out of you. That's why we join forces and combine to educate people, and not only just educate them, actually at a different level of time in life where we're both able to provide these services, not just education. We're actually able to provide services to get people funded, to supply them with properties, to supply them with different kind of financial institutions and private capital and hard money capital and regular capital, and supply them and inform them and guide them and consult them how to acquire these properties by being in the industry and educated. 5 years later, together, we're now able to bring value, to bring enormous value to hundreds of thousands of people. Because when we just first met, you didn't have that many subscribers in this large audience. It took you 5 years or more to build this. And it took me 5 years plus to build experience, to build my mind mentally, morally, financially, and in every possible way to build myself to actually be here on the screen live together and combine this energy and this education and this practical knowledge with ability to help thousands to get funded and acquire real estate portfolios, acquire the fix and flips, and start with practically nothing and see people rise and change lives in every starving home and in every wealthy home, and make a difference impacting on everyone's life.
Absolutely.
That is seeking for this knowledge and that is seeking for this consultation and funding and everything all together. We
Absolutely. You know,
take those inquiries case by case to start people up in the real estate investment business.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. But thing is, sometimes people just need help getting started. Like they don't know where to start, you know? But also,
well, there's multiple ways to start, multiple ways. For example, somebody that doesn't have any money, absolutely not. You know, they have a computer or they could go to a library to start with nothing. If they want it, we will help them to start with absolutely nothing, and they can search for deals, and they can call us and say, "Hey, listen, I found this deal. What do you think?" And we'll provide the funding. We'll fund the
Okay, so
deal,
listen.
and we'll take them into partnership to start with absolutely nothing by just providing us a deal.
Okay, so listen. What's the website? Give people the website. Where should they go? Where's the links?
Our website is cashdealcapital.com. And
Cashdealcapital.com.
You could see all the loan products that we have. You can read about the company, what we do. We don't only do real estate. We do import-export. We do joint ventures, venture capitalists, funding hotels, new developments, commercial real estate, anything that has to do in the financial world or anything that has to do with any real estate. We could get it funded, or even any type of joint venture. If you have an idea, if you have an invention, if you have anything that you have a vision and you see could be very profitable, you can give us a call freely. You can call Justin Perry, or you can
Don't call my
me.
phone.
You can call
Now, how about this?
Justin
Look.
Perry. You can call my phone. You can contact us through Mind Investors or You Are Creators, whichever way you want to reach out to us.
Reach out to us at youarecreators2@gmail.com.
You can reach out to us there, and we'll take all your inquiries, and the case by case we will respond to you and help you start up in the real estate investment business with absolutely nothing. And even if you need help acquiring a real estate license, I personally trained and hired over 40 people, and I could help you out where you can acquire your license with as little as 2 to 3 weeks. And I've done it. My record is 9 days.
Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. So the goal is to build other millionaires. That's the goal. One hand washes the other. Let's do it. Let's do it. So listen, this concludes episode 2 of the Mind Investors Podcast. You can watch episode 1 on YouTube at the Mind Investors Podcast YouTube channel. Check it out. I love you guys. More is coming. And stay tuned. Gotta go.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bless you. And Justin Perry, thank you. You're my brother, my friend, my partner. And I want to thank you for making this happen for the both of us.
Bruh, life is good. All right,
making
bro.
it happen for all our audience. Very important. So, goodbye, everyone. Bless everyone. And we'll be back.